Good morning. It's 11:05 a.m. on Saturday, November 14th, 2015. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. So, obviously, unpleasant things in the news today. I slept in because I was up till 2 a.m. playing Fallout 4, which I'm continuing to really enjoy. Um, but then, of course, I wake up this morning and hear about the attacks in Paris. And it's just awful. In some ways, I think this must just be my own bias in terms of like the things that I'm more afraid of or less. But the idea of like a trained guy with an assault rifle just unloading on a crowd, there's always kind of just been this element in my head of like, that seems like it would be really effective. Why don't they do that? Not that I want them to, obviously, but just more like fear that they will because that seems really dangerous. And in some ways, I don't know, maybe it's just because I've never really experienced a bomb in person. Um, Not that I ever hope to, but I don't know, the guy just spraying into a crowd with an assault rifle, or not even, my understanding is this wasn't even just like randomly spraying, it's like they're trained to use it, and they were not just wildly spraying, they were specifically trying to kill everybody they saw. But anyway, I guess that's just like that kind of attack was always kind of something that I had thought of as like, well, I hope they don't do that. Because, it just always struck me that something as big and elaborate as 9/11, had that big, profound impact on, like, the building, which is obviously, awful. But it just seemed like you could also have just a really dramatic effect of just creating fear by making it seem like anywhere there's a crowd of people could be a threat. I don't know. There's obviously a lot of things still developing. We don't know all the details yet. Or I certainly don't. I've only had about 15 minutes worth of listening to the NPR news. Um, but, I guess, this is just a reminder that for the most part, we have it pretty good in terms of this violence not being on our doorstep very often. And maybe it's important to remember that. And I don't know, well, first, I'm going to take a moment to let myself off the hook for not being able to speak profoundly on this necessarily. I did just get up. But yeah, just, you just wish that the world wasn't like this. And what's so frustrating is that I think, we have this tendency to just want to make ISIS into these inhuman monsters and say that they want to attack us because of our freedoms. And as tempting and comforting as that is, it makes things easier philosophically. And look, I'm not saying these are not bad guys. They just killed a bunch of people. They're bad guys. But bad guys are human beings in extraordinary circumstances frequently. And, I don't think that these people were just born evil. And I wish that we knew better how to not have it go this way. And I think it's unfortunate to try to look for the easy moral answer when these things happen, because Like, as an engineer, I find it very frustrating when you're not able to deal with the actual root cause of the problem. Like, that happens at work sometimes, is that something happens that's bad, and like some equipment is affected. But it's more important to the company at large to get the equipment running again so they can use it than it is in really drilling down and finding the exact specific reason that the problem happened so that it could be prevented. It would be very satisfying to find the exact reason and prevent it in the future, but that might well take a long time and be very difficult, and in the meantime they can't use their equipment and it's hard. And so I think that's very much the case here, is that it may well not be possible in any way to definitively identify how to stop things like this from happening. It may not be possible to stop it, because whatever you do to stop this group might be just the thing that makes this group over here mad enough to do it. But at the same time, I can't help but feel that rallying everybody up to go bomb a bunch of caves into oblivion is also not the way to get it to stop. But I don't know what is. Anyway, I'll talk to you tomorrow for 5 more minutes, hopefully a bit more upbeat. All right, bye.